Apparently, my inexperienced wife is better at Spyro than the video game journalist at Eurogamer. Let's talk about that. What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and back with a video that is gonna go down a bit of a dark road, and maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but you know what? I think it needs to be said. So as you know, the Spyro Reignited trilogy has come out and has received great reviews so far, averaging at about an 8.5 out of 10 overall. But there is one review I want to bring to your attention, as I feel it brings up a problem within the gaming review ecosystem. Right off the hop, I want to say I am not attacking this person on a personal level, and I am not attacking them on their opinions on the game, whether it would be positive or negative. I am talking about certain points made that really shows the amount of knowledge and time that was put forth in this review. Eurogamer had posted the review of Spyro, and boy is it a read. Quote, "It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening, and after what feels like hours of grinding, I'm seconds from throwing down my controller in absolute disgust. It's all due to a toad. An irritating, wretched toad that won't stop rolling around in all its remastered splendor over the TV screen. And my poor purple dragon." This, of course, is a boss fight in the remastered version of Spyro Year of the Dragon, and like the rest of the trilogy, the aging mechanics make you suffer. Wait, no, she can't be talking about Buzz, right? There is no way she could be referring to the first and the easiest boss in the third game, right? Rather than presenting a fair challenge, defeating Buzz felt like repeatedly banging my head on a brick wall due to limited hints given to guide the player. The breakneck shift in difficulty, meanwhile, felt like I'd suddenly been dropped into Dark Souls in the middle of a game of tiddlywinks.
This is the worst!
Where do I even start? So the reviewer of this game thought that Buzz, as in the first boss in the third game, took a painstaking amount of hours, and the reviewer felt that they were about to throw down the controller in disgust because she felt that she was dropped into a game that has a difficulty equal to Dark Souls. I'm sorry, but have you ever played Spyro before? Have you ever played Dark Souls before? Have you ever played a video game before? The fact that she is comparing a game that was originally marketed to a young crowd who could overcome such challenges with ease to Dark Souls says a lot about her and her skill.
Once upon a time, there was a young dragon named Spyro. He journeyed across enchanting worlds to rescue other dragons from the spells of Nasty Mork. After battling Nasty and his minions, Spyro brought peace back to the land. Spyromania swept the country, and everyone lived happily ever after. Not! That feisty lizard burned herds of our sheep! Cool!
I mean, the comparison of anything being marginally difficult to Dark Souls has become a meme within the community and makes everyone laugh every time people read it. And lo and behold, here it is in its full memery glory, the comparison to Dark Souls in a game starring a little purple dragon. So I decided to hop back into my Year of the Dragon save on the Reignited trilogy and decided to time myself. I beat Buzz in 1 minute and 40 seconds. This boss is an absolute joke and a cakewalk. No problems, no issues, no complications. How could this reviewer say that they felt they spent a painstaking amount of hours on such a simple concepted boss? Now, I would say I'm more of an aged Spyro player. I know the games fairly well and have played through the trilogy multiple times and quite a few times over the years. Maybe we need a fresh pair of hands and eyes on this. Thus, we bring in my wife. My wife has never played a Spyro game, with the exception of one of the games on the Game Boy Advanced that she didn't even remember the name to. She never even beat it, so this is the first time she actually had her hands on a controller controlling our little purple dragon. I threw her into Midday Gardens for about 5 minutes, just so that she could get a hold of the controls. After she killed about a dozen rabbits, she said that she was ready. I would also like to mention that my wife has not picked up a controller since our son was born over 5 months ago. So the reviewer said, quote, "Buzz felt like repeatedly banging my head on a brick wall due to the limited hints given to guide the player." She also claimed that, quote, "The breakneck shift in difficulty, meanwhile, felt like I'd suddenly been dropped into Dark Souls in the middle of a game of Tiddlywinks." She also worded the review as if it took her so long to beat him by opening with a quote saying, "It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening, and after what feels like hours of grinding, I'm seconds from throwing down my controller in absolute disgust." So, here's the test. As I mentioned, my wife, who has never played a Spyro game before and hasn't touched a controller since my son was born, will fight the boss Buzz with only 5 minutes under her belt in the Midday Gardens to figure out what the controls even do. I will time her and not tell her anything about how to beat Buzz. She is on her own on how to beat him. It's up to her to figure it out. She started by trying to breathe fire on Buzz. Of course, nothing happened. So she tried charging him. He got knocked back. She kept hitting him until he fell into the lava.
Okay. That was easy.
She figured out how to beat Buzz and how the boss works in about a minute. She tried a few other ways to get him in the lava by tricking Buzz to fall into the lava by dodging him at the last second as he rolled towards her. But that didn't quite work, and she quickly learned that the only way is to ram him into the lava. She died 3 times, but then overcame Buzz and beat him in the end. She beat him in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Nice.
Okay, so half the time I didn't know what controllers were.
So 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Nice, not bad.
That was actually not a bad boss. It was just a little annoying.
Alright, let's go back to the quotes that Eurogamer review had said. Quote, "Buzz felt like repeatedly banging my head on a brick wall due to the limited hints given to guide the player. This game is not going to hold your hand." So my wife had figured out in a minute, however, how to beat Buzz. She tried the flame attack and it didn't work. So she tried the charge attack. Something happened. She kept doing it and saw that he got knocked back into the lava and his health bar went down. She then knew that the point of beating Buzz is to get him into the lava. No instructions needed. Next quote. "It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening, and after what feels like hours of grinding, I'm seconds from throwing down my controller in absolute disgust." She beat it in 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Hardly an amount of time that would, quote, "feel like hours of grinding." Even if this took 3 times the amount of time, it would still not even come close to comparing their experience with the feeling of grinding for hours. And the last quote. "The breakneck shift in difficulty, meanwhile, felt like I'd suddenly been dropped into Dark Souls in the middle of a game of Tiddlywinks." Let's ask my wife what her thoughts were on the boss and its difficulty. "Defeating Buzz felt like repeatedly banging my head on a brick wall due to the limited hints given to guide the player. The breakneck shift in difficulty, meanwhile, felt like I'd suddenly been dropped into Dark Souls in the middle of a game of Tiddlywinks. Defeating this oversized toad felt more of a relief than a triumph. And unfortunately for many of Reignited's bosses also fall prey to this pattern." What are your thoughts on that statement?
This is stupid. I'm sorry. What I find is games these days, I know I sound like an old person, they're too easy, and games like Spyro before, they were really hard. But the thing is, when you beat them, you felt like, "I did this! This is amazing! Yes!" And you turned your game console and walked away. That was not what I experienced. It took me 10 minutes and I haven't even played that game before.
Right.
That's not that hard. I assume that beating Ripto is harder, or any of the other more higher up levels are going to be harder, but that wasn't that hard. You follow the simple game mechanics. If he rolls, okay, wait till he stops, and then you ram into him.
So what is the point of this video? Is it to make fun of Eurogamer? No, the point of this video is that this reviewer is claiming that she wants to throw her controller in a raging tantrum over the Buzz boss fight and spent what they felt like as many grinding hours, when my wife, who isn't a self-professed gamer, who is barely experienced in games and barely plays them, defied everything that this reviewer said when it came to this boss fight. Now, I can't stress this point enough, and this is one of the biggest points of the whole video. This is the reviewer's job. They write for a gaming magazine and are reviewing a game as their job to report to other gamers how the game is. When you say a game is too hard, you need to know what you are talking about, because if you do not know, you're going to be handing out misinformation to other players and give them the wrong idea of the game. This goes for both positive and negative reviews. And the problem is that this is not just a one-time thing. Other review sites also do this, where they have inexperienced players playing games and giving the wrong ideas to other people. I understand that there's difference in opinion, but when it gets to the point where you don't even have the proper skill to get through the tutorial, like some of the reviewers for Cuphead, then you got a problem. If you are reviewing something, you need to have some skill to be able to get a good grasp on the game. Not pro level, just some skill nonetheless, average, just like every other gamer. This is why I am making this video. Companies are putting inexperienced people as a reviewer to represent their company, and it comes off as really bad and unreliable. I mean, come on, the comparing the Dark Souls thing is a joke and a meme within itself. And lo and behold, this reviewer compares a game that was originally marketed to young people, that the difficulty is equivalent to one of the most ruthless games to come out in modern consoles in years. That is absolutely silly, and in the end, completely untrue. But what do you guys think? Comment below and let me know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Cue the extra.